All right, everyone. So, hey, everyone. I am here with my friend Pam Caldwell, who specializes in pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and lactation, which is mainly what we're going to be talking about today. So Pam contacted me about issues that a lot of women struggle with in terms of breastfeeding their children and milk production, and wondering about how tapping could benefit with that, and asked if I could do a video on that. And I said, well, even better, let me talk to you, an expert, and we can talk about the issue and then throw in some tapping around that. So thanks for getting in touch with me, Pam.
You're so welcome, Brad. Thank you for helping me out with this project.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm always happy to have tapping be of benefit to as many people as possible in as many ways as possible. So you'd shared with me earlier some of the comments that had come up from some of the women. So why don't you just sort of give an overview of what you see and are experiencing, and then why you were looking at tapping for this?
Well, so many women struggle with breast milk production in one way or another. I myself struggled with it, not having enough milk, having too much milk, plug ducts and mastitis, and just there are so many things that that women struggle with that are a big surprise. A lot of people think it's really easy. I sure did. I was shocked to see all the problems that could come up, and the fear, the stress, the anxiety, total emotional upheaval that comes along with experiencing those things. And women have to go back to work, they're traveling, they get sick. So many things happen that can impact the milk production. And all of those things boil down to stress.
Yeah.
And stress is a big contributor to low milk production, whether it's from going back to work or being sick, any of those things that I mentioned. So being experienced with tapping, having had great results with it in many areas of my life, I thought this would be helpful for these moms as well, to at least kind of break that pattern, or break that energy of stress, to to help them relax a little bit so that the milk can flow.
Yeah. As you're talking about it and shared some of the stories, it was very clear that all of these things there was a huge amount of stress. As you said, stress lowers the milk count, which then creates more stress. And so you get this sort of vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, there's this expectation of, oh, well, it's the most natural thing in the world. Of course it's going to happen. So then when it doesn't, the fear of, oh, there's something wrong with me,
mm-hmm.
which is, a stressful thought.
Exactly.
Never good for one's self-esteem, especially when you're going through all of the hormonal issues at the time anyway.
Exactly.
Including postpartum depression that so many people experience. And so on top of all of that, to then be thinking, oh, I'm just not doing it right.
Mm-hmm. Something's wrong with me. What's wrong with my body? Am I starving my baby? Is my baby going to be okay? There's a million thoughts that go through a new mom's head.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
And if the baby's not latching properly at the beginning, what's wrong with my baby? My baby doesn't know how to do this and doesn't have the instincts. And oh no, it's
yeah.
So once if only we had something that could help with that.
Yeah, for sure.
So just in case, because this video is going to go out to different folks, and there may be some folks watching this who have heard about this through Pam or through some other site and are thinking, what the heck is tapping? So a really, really quick overview. Tapping, also known as EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, is this very simple mind-body tool where we basically tap on our face with our fingertips. And I know if you're new to this, it's like, what? It's a little strange. It's based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's this flow of energy through the body along pathways called meridians. And when the energy flows naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. And when this energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. and we don't make great choices. And there are all kinds of unfortunate consequences. So in traditional acupuncture, the doctor would stick needles in these key points along these meridians to stimulate that healthy flow of energy. And we're just tapping with this. And interestingly, I didn't even tell you about this, Pam. Our first introduction to acupuncture, my wife and I, was when she was pregnant with our daughter. Our daughter was transverse breech. Oh. And because of the placement of the placenta, they weren't going to be able to do a manipulation to shift her. And so we were looking at a C-section, and someone said, you could try acupuncture for that. So we went to the doctor, and while my wife was sitting there with the needles in, she said she felt things moving.
Yeah.
And sure enough, afterwards, it was this a younger doctor who was helping, and she said, well, maybe you can come back. And as she was leading us out, her mom came in, who was the senior doctor there, this older Chinese woman who had practiced Western medicine in China, then came to the United States to teach Chinese medicine, and put my wife up on the table and felt and said, oh no, the baby's head's down here. All's good. It's like,
that's great.
Wow. So we're using this same, this tapping is based on the same principles. So, and one of the reasons I share that is because I know that some people, if they're not familiar with it, may be concerned about, the health of their child, and would this be of any kind of danger? And acupuncture has been used with pregnancy for, centuries. So it is beneficial. It is helpful. It is not harmful at all. Mm-hmm. And the tapping is possibly the simplest stress relief form that I know of, without taking any medication, which can have side effects that you don't want.
Absolutely.
So what happens when we're tapping these points is what modern research is showing us, that we are calming down the amygdala, which is the part of our brain that sends out that stress signal, puts us into fight or flight, starts producing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, or the amygdala doesn't produce that. It sends out the signal telling our bodies to produce that. Mm-hmm. And when we're doing the tapping, it calms the system down, our cortisol levels go down. So when we're looking at these issues that are troubling us, to be tapping while we're doing so calms down that stress, allows us to relax, allows us to change our minds, allows us to see things differently, and ideally then helps with milk production. But even before that, even if that doesn't change, it can help clear the stress. So it's like, okay, I have this issue, maybe I'm not producing as much milk as I want to or need to, but the stress certainly isn't helping. Right. And just gets in the way and can be harmful in other ways, because you want to be in as good a mindset as possible around the people you love.
Right. And babies are little sponges for energy. And if mom is stressed, the babies can pick up on the stress, and they just kind of, feed off of each other. So interrupting this pattern is just a good thing overall for everybody. And it results in a successful breastfeeding session.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want the baby saying, I'm not getting enough milk, but I'm getting more than enough stress. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's do a round. I'll show. So just the very basics of tapping, I'll show you real quick. We generally tap with our dominant hand, but you can tap with either side, either hand. And some people tap down both sides at the same time. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to do one side. So you take the fingertips of your index and middle finger, and you gently tap on what we call the karate chop point. And that's where we state whatever the issue is. So let's just say that it's a matter of feeling stress. And so I would rate my stress on a scale of 0 to 10. Say, I'm pretty stressed out. It's like an 8 or a 9. And I would, try to notice what physical sensations there were, tightness in my shoulders, something like that. And then we would tap here and say, even though I feel this stress, I choose to love and accept myself. We'd say that 3 times, and that's just the setup phrase. And then we would tap through these points, right here at the beginning of your eyebrow. And each point we tap about 5 to 10 times. We'd say all this stress. Right here, the corner of your eye, all this stress. Right under the middle of your eye, all this stress. Right under your nose, all this stress. Right under your lower lip, just above your chin, all this stress. Right here where your collarbones just about come together, there's a little U shape there. And you can make a fist and just tap over there, all this stress. About 4 inches below your armpit. It's right about bra strap level. I'm sure everyone watching this can figure out where that is. All this stress. And then finally, the top of the head. So just with all your fingertips, just tapping around in circles around the top of your head. All this stress. You take a deep breath. Check in again. And, sometimes we'll find the stress goes from an 8 to a 0 like that. Not always. If it doesn't, sometimes it goes from an 8 to a 7.95. And it's like, okay, a little bit of stress relief is better than none. Mm-hmm. And what often happens when we're tapping is it's like peeling the layers of the onion. So we might be tapping through and go, all the stress, oh, I know exactly what I'm stressed about. And you may become clear on, I remember when my mom was breastfeeding my younger brother and she was stressing out. And I first got the idea that, oh, breastfeeding is stressful. Things like that happen where as we get greater clarity, and then we can recognize, okay, I don't have to be stressed about this. That's what she was going through. And as we tap through, we might even recognize, wow, and and mom and dad were having a fight at that time. And so that might have added to the stress, and it may not have been entirely about even the breastfeeding.
Right.
So we find that a lot of the things that we stress out about are misunderstandings about things that happened in the past. So even when we don't necessarily feel a huge shift in our energy, we tend to get some greater clarity. So when we're tapping along, it's always beneficial. To my mind, it's always working. Sometimes it's very obvious. Sometimes it's very subtle. Like doing sit-ups. You don't do 2 sit-ups and automatically have a 6-pack. You may take a few. Or taking vitamins. Very rarely do we take one supplement and go, oh my goodness, I feel like a superhero. Right. So even when it's not immediately obvious, trust that it is being beneficial. And again, like I was saying earlier, in terms of the acupuncture, it is a safe process. It's not, it's good for your body. You're using your body's natural system to calm down. Mm-hmm. So
Brad, if a woman can't reach her sides on the side of her breast, is it okay if she misses that spot?
Yeah, excellent question. Yeah, don't worry about any particular point. And if you find a point is sore, you can touch and rub certain points, and none of the points is like so essential that the tapping won't work without it. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes you may find that you're tapping along, and you'll just feel like staying on one point. It's like, oh, this feels like the point to hang out on. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, it could be simply that, because each of the points is associated with a different meridian, which is associated with a different organ. Mm-hmm. So, like for instance, the side of the eye is associated with the bladder, which is associated with anger. So you may be feeling angry, and you may be feeling, no, it's not anger, but I still feel like tapping the side of my eye. So you need to get caught up on why it is. So there are times where you may just feel like tapping one particular point. Collarbone is often a very preferred spot for a lot of people to tap at certain points. So yeah, don't get caught up on it has to be between 5 and 10 times, and it has to be every point in the correct order.
Right. And women can have their baby at their breast while they're going through the tapping. Yeah. If they're feeling afraid that it's going to hurt, or that they might run out of milk and they're stressed about that, they can be doing the tapping while the baby is at their breast nursing.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. And you can do the either very gentle tapping or touch and hold on your baby. I did
Mm-hmm.
when my daughter was just a couple months old. She had hiccups, and I was just holding her, and I just was tapping under her arm, the end of the arm point, just gently tapping, and her hiccup stopped.
Mm,
So
very cool.
it can be very comforting for children to do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And I know, Brad, you have a lot of videos on YouTube for just about anything anyone can think of. And I know for nursing moms who are going through this, they might feel inadequate or that there's something wrong with them or they're not good enough. And you have videos that speak specifically to that as well.
yeah, a lot of videos on self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do a round now on specifically on this feeling of not being good enough, whatever. Well, we'll set it around whatever stress you might feel around breastfeeding, because it could be about all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
So I'll invite folks to close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, and just allow yourself to be aware of whatever stressful thoughts or feelings you might have about breastfeeding. And just rate that discomfort on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being totally stressed out. And just allow yourself to be aware of any place in your body that you might feel it. Allow yourself to be aware of any thoughts, beliefs, or memories that might contribute to the stress. Why you should be feeling bad about this. Where you got those expectations, whatever might come up. And don't worry about it if nothing's coming up. Just allow yourself to be aware of whatever you are aware of. And again, on a scale of 0 to 10, how stressed you feel or how uncomfortable you feel. And Pam, if you'll leave my echo voice.
Absolutely.
And so everyone else, just tap where I tap and repeat what I say along with Pam. Even though I'm feeling the stress,
Even though I'm feeling this stress,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I'm feeling this stress,
Even though I'm feeling this stress,
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
Even though I'm feeling this stress,
Even though I'm feeling this stress,
all this upset
all this upset
around how this is going,
around how this is going,
about how I might not be doing it right,
about how I might not be doing it right,
because I have this expectation
because I have this expectation
that breastfeeding is the most natural thing in the world.
that breastfeeding is the most natural thing in the world.
And if I'm not doing it perfectly,
And if I'm not doing it perfectly,
whatever that might mean,
whatever that might mean,
there must be something wrong with me.
there must be something wrong with me.
And I should feel bad,
And I should feel bad.
which is not good for me or the baby.
This is not good for me or the baby.
And even though I feel this stress,
And even though I feel this stress,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself
love, honor, and accept myself
and my baby
and my baby
and anyone else who might be involved.
and anyone else who might be involved.
All this stress,
All this stress,
all this breastfeeding stress,
all this breastfeeding stress,
all this fear that I'm not doing it right,
all this fear that I'm not doing it right,
all this fear that there might be something wrong with me,
all this fear that there might be something wrong with me,
all this fear that I might be harming my baby.
all this fear that I might be harming my baby.
And that makes me really stressed out,
And that makes me really stressed out.
which isn't good for me or my baby.
It isn't good for me or my baby.
But that's what I'm feeling.
But that's what I'm feeling.
I'm not bad or stupid for having feelings.
I'm not bad or stupid for having feelings.
I'm honoring my feelings.
I'm honoring my feelings.
And at the same time,
And at the same time,
I am giving myself permission to relax,
I'm giving myself permission to relax
because I cannot create more milk with stress.
because I cannot create more milk with stress.
I don't need to motivate myself with stress.
I don't need to motivate myself with stress.
It's not like my body is saying,
It's not like my body is saying,
we'll give you more milk when you give us more stress.
we'll give you more milk when you give us more stress.
And all of this stress is based on old ideas.
And all this stress is based on old ideas.
Which may or may not be true.
Which may or may not be true.
A lot of it might be misunderstandings.
A lot of it might be misunderstandings.
And I choose to clear the stress.
And I choose to clear the stress.
I choose to clear the fear.
I choose to clear the fear.
I choose to clear the doubt.
I choose to clear the doubts.
I'm going to find whatever solutions I need.
I'm going to find whatever solutions I need.
And the best way to do that
And the best way to do that
is to be as clear-headed as possible.
Is to be as clear-headed as possible.
And to find as much peace as possible.
And to find as much peace as possible.
And even more important than mother's milk.
And even more important than mother's milk.
Is positive vibes.
Is positive vibes.
I choose to feel a lot of peace.
I choose to feel a lot of peace.
For my baby's sake.
For my baby's sake.
So I'm allowing myself to relax.
I'm allowing myself to relax.
Clearing all these reasons why I couldn't or shouldn't.
Clearing all these reasons why I couldn't or shouldn't.
And maybe there are people in my life.
And maybe there are people in my life.
Telling me that I should be worried.
Telling me that I should be worried.
That I should be stressed out.
That I should be stressed out.
I gotta stop listening to these people.
I gotta stop listening to these people.
Because that is not good advice.
Because that is not good advice.
I do not need to stress out.
I do not need to stress out.
It is not helping the situation.
It is not helping the situation.
And I love and forgive myself even though I do feel stress.
And I love and forgive myself even though I do feel stress.
And I'm giving myself permission to relax.
And I'm giving myself permission to relax.
It's okay to relax.
It's okay to relax.
I don't need to be stressed out to prove that I'm a good mom.
I don't need to be stressed out in order to prove that I'm a good mom.
All these doubts about being a good mom.
All these doubts about being a good mom.
All these ideas about what that means.
All these ideas about what that means.
And all this fear.
And all this fear.
That if I'm not breastfeeding perfectly.
That if I'm not breastfeeding perfectly.
I'm not a good enough mom.
I'm not a good enough mom.
I choose to let that go.
I choose to let that go.
There's not one perfect experience for everybody.
There's not one perfect experience for everybody.
I'm going through whatever I'm going through.
I'm going through whatever I'm going through.
And I'm going to figure it out.
And I'm going to figure it out.
And I can handle it.
And I can handle it.
And my baby can handle it.
And my baby can handle it.
Nature has its ways.
It does have its ways.
Just like they said in Jurassic Park.
Just like they said in Jurassic Park.
Nature finds a way.
Nature finds a way.
Or maybe it's life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Either way, we're going to work it out.
We will work it out.
So I can let go of this stress.
So I can let go of this stress.
It's not like someone is checking.
It's not like someone is checking.
Oh, are you breastfeeding perfectly?
Are you breastfeeding perfectly?
And if not, are you at least feeling stress about it?
And if not, are you at least feeling stress about it?
I have to be doing one or the other.
You have to be doing one or the other.
I'm clearing that belief.
I'm clearing that belief.
Wherever I may have gotten it from.
Wherever I may have gotten it from.
Giving myself permission to relax.
I'm giving myself permission to relax.
Because that's a gift for myself and my baby.
Because that's a gift for myself and my baby.
And pretty much everybody else I'm around.
And pretty much anybody else I'm around.
But especially for me and my baby.
But especially for me and my baby.
And I'm allowing myself to feel more peace.
And I'm allowing myself to feel more peace.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. And go ahead and close your eyes and again check in and think about breastfeeding and whatever level of stress you might have had before, go ahead and rate that again on a scale of 0 to 10 and hopefully that number has come down. Hopefully you feel more relaxed. Maybe have some more ideas about what was going on, maybe changed your mind about a few things. So I know, Pam, your breastfeeding days are a few years behind you, but but as someone who's been through that and someone who counsels people with that, are there things that have come up, thoughts, questions, comments?
I think that this is going to be very helpful for women. And, if tears come up as you're going through this process, please let them come, and let them, because that's a releasing and that's a letting go, and it's perfectly normal. And that just means that you're touching upon something that needs and is ready to be released and let go of. If you don't want to say the script perfectly like that, that's fine. Put your own words in there. I sometimes do that as I'm going through tapping scripts. I'll put my own words in there that apply to me, and there are no rules, and it's going to really help. Anytime you feel stress come up, remember about this video. Come back and watch it again anytime you need, so that you can get back to center.
Yeah, excellent points. Absolutely. There's not a wrong way to do this. I'm definitely not big on rules about how to do it. When I do tapping scripts, it's to help people who are not sure what to say, right. But it's not, I have the one right way of saying this. So as Pam said, absolutely. If you feel other words coming up, go with that. Mm-hmm. There are a number of physical responses you might notice. You may notice yawning. Excuse me. Yawning is the most usual thing that happens physically when people are going through tapping. Doesn't mean you're doing it wrong if you're not yawning, but don't be surprised if that happens. Crying, burping, all kinds of different things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes for me, my shoulders start rolling. That's just energy moving through our body. Mm-hmm. So don't get worried if, I'm having some physical reaction. That's good. It just means that energy is moving through you.
It's working. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Any final thoughts you wanna share for folks going through this?
It's going to be all right. I know it's hard. It can be really hard sometimes, but it does get better. And working on it on the emotional level like this is so helpful. You can also use herbs to help increase milk production. Working on the emotional as well as the physical brings kind of a full circle holistic approach, and that's always so beneficial, working on both levels. So it is going to be okay. I know it's hard. You're doing a really good job.
Yeah. And for whatever fears might be coming up, the fear of what happens if my baby has formula, what happens if this or that, keep clearing the fears. Mm-hmm. You and your baby will find a way. Mm-hmm. and will find a way to thrive. The most important thing, or I don't know the most important thing, but certainly one of the more important things, is being able to get that sense of peace, being able to clear out the stress, because the stress is just getting in the way. Not to feel stressed out if you're feeling, oh no, I'm feeling stressed out because I've got stress.
Right.
Just recognize, and that's why I said at the beginning, honoring your feelings, recognize, yeah, it's totally normal that I'm having all kinds of feelings, says the guy who's never gone through this personally. But I've worked with a lot of people who've gone through a lot of stuff. So just honor your feelings, but give yourself permission to do this self-care, because that's one of the huge things is the whole self-care thing, because it's like when you get on an airplane and they say, put the oxygen mask on your own face first, because your baby is depending on you. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not helping your baby.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It took me until my baby was 6 months old to get through all the breastfeeding issues that I went through. And I did supplement, I had to, and it was okay. She got some breast milk, and finally we got back to exclusive breastfeeding. And, everybody's situation is different. You just do the best that you can. If you have to supplement, which you didn't want to, it's going to be okay. Just keep working at it, and just know that you're doing a really good job for yourself and your baby. And that's all you can ask of yourself. Yeah. And, Brad's got other videos for stress, search around. If you got something going on, search around, and they've helped me a lot. So
yeah,
I know
virtually every video is on stress. So no matter what you're tapping on, you're
That's
clearing
so
the
true.
stress. So whatever you might be worried about, even if my baby has formula, even if this, even if that, you guys are going to handle it. You're going to do great.
Yeah.
So keep the faith, and and we're holding great thoughts for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Brad.
Oh, thank you, Pam.
Mm-hmm.